Two landmark surveys have revealed tourists are too scared and confused to holiday in bushfire ravaged towns, even though they would like to help revive crippled local economies. Meanwhile, in a bid to dispel confusion and allay tourist concerns, the state government will today launch a new Go Regional website that will list the towns and tourism operators throughout regional New South Wales that are ready to host visitors again. Joining me now live to discuss is Margy Osmond, the CEO of the Tourism and Transport Forum. Margy, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon.
Happy Australia Day, Danica.
Thank you. Likewise. Firstly, based on this survey, what are the key concerns of tourists?
Look, I think, despite the fact that some 91% of the people that we spoke to nationally said that it was absolutely the right thing to support regional communities and go out there and visit, when we asked them their intentions, only 20% of them said that, they wouldn't go. 80% said yes, they would holiday in Australia, but of that 80%, only about 25% said that they would go to a fire-affected, not even a fire-ravaged, a fire-affected area. And the issues for them were lack of understanding about access, safety concerns, and a difficulty just in terms of getting information and knowing where was a good or a bad place to go.
How can this perception be changed? Because we're a few weeks on from the fires now. It's still a very active zone, but how can we change these perceptions?
Well, look, the good news is that most states and certainly the federal government have all come out with domestically focused information campaigns, more than glossy campaigns. These are very practical grassroots information campaigns to encourage people to come back, but to give them the information they need. So I think the announcement here in New South Wales is a very valuable one, and I think will make a significant difference. In addition to that, the Tourism Australia campaign, Holiday Here this year, will get everybody thinking. So this survey was done at around about the same time that those campaigns were launched, and what we're going to need to see is what happens over the next few weeks in terms of bookings. But what it does tell you is absolutely governments are going to have to spend money on this kind of promotional work for a considerable period of time to come.
Do you expect that something like this will take years to make up that lost revenue?
Look, I never want to be pessimistic about these things, but I think being realistic, this is going to take several years to bring things back to the place they need to be. So it will need a commitment from government and from industry in the long haul to support those regional communities and, in fact, to support the international destinations that are feeling a significant amount of pain also.
Let's break down some of these figures based on the tourism survey, but also from the business survey. It found that 53% of holidaymakers who had plans to visit a bushfire-affected area actually cancelled their trips. Margy, that's over half. That's over 50%. How concerning is that statistic?
Oh, look, it's extremely concerning, and I think now that you start to see these figures, it puts the facts and the framework, if you like, around the conversation we've all been having, that particularly for small businesses in regional areas, this is the time of year when they make 40, maybe 50% of their annual revenue. And when you start to see that level of cancellation, it really brings it home to you just what an enormous impact this is going to have. And there are still such gorgeous places to go.
Well, you were down there only a couple of days ago. What are people there telling you?
They're doing it tough. Even though I was down in Eden at the end of last week for the first cruise ship back into Eden after the fires, which was great. 2,000 people, lots of American tourists. It was fabulous. But even so, the coffee shops down near the wharf, some of the tour operators, they're really feeling the struggle on this. And so one particular cafe owner I was talking to, she normally has 11 staff. She's down to 3 at the moment, and that tells you the larger impact on that community in terms of other people and their jobs and their capacity to make a living.
Certainly extremely concerning, but fingers crossed it can be turned around soon, because these regional communities need our help and they need it urgently. Margy Osmond, thank you so much for your time this afternoon.
My pleasure.